With data frames, there is a little more to subsetting. There is a different type of subsetting function that we can utilize with the data frame. And you'll be seeing this again with lists. So say we have our employee, and here what we can do is we can use something called a dollar notation. So if we do dollar, then we can actually go ahead and access any one of these columns. So you can see all of these columns have been listed out, and by doing or writing dollar, we can access any of these columns right by the name. So if we do dollar employee f name, and if we do a print out of that, you can see all the first names have been printed out for us. If we do the same thing with, say, a replacement for this, let's go to dollar again and let's put age. You can do it for both of those data types, string, character, or the numeric data type that we have here. And of course, you can do your normal subsetting, which is also from the matrices. So it allows you to have functionality of both a matrix and a list, which is quite similar to a data frame, but we'll be getting to that in a later lecture. So we have employees, and here we can do comma 1, and you can predict the output. Yes, you can predict the output now, and you can say that employee comma 1 pulls out all of the employee IDs. So if you want to take a look at employee real quick, so it pulled out all of these employee IDs going down this column this way. You can do the same thing with a couple of rows. You can select these rows and we can change the columns. So we can do 1 to 3, and these 3 columns have been picked and these 3 rows have been picked. Again, we can use our selection vectors, and you guys have seen enough of selection vectors, so we'll be moving on to a different topic here. And one last thing I want to cover is something called converting to a matrix. So if you take a look at why you might actually want to use a matrix over a data frame, it's more efficient in the R under the hood. So when you're going to do any sort of multiplication or even data storage, and if you're going to use a matrix, it's a lot more efficient to do that storage that way instead of using a data frame. And if you check most functions in R, they actually coerce their data frames into a matrix before they move forward and do some sort of mathematical manipulation on them. So we can do our own conversion by using a data.matrix function. So let me just show you what the class of the employee data frame is currently. It's a data frame. If I want to convert, say, a couple of these columns, so obviously we can't convert all of them since these are of a different data type. We can pick out these 3 columns, so employee ID, age, and salary. So we'll create a matrix and we'll do data.matrix and convert our column names, which are going to be employee, and we're going to use a selection vector here, and we're going to say C, and we're going to say true, false, false, true, true. So we're selecting all the rows, however, we're restricting the columns that we want to select by selecting employee ID, false for employee first name, false for employee last name, true for age, and true for salary. So let's run that, and let's take a look at our matrix as well. This is our matrix. You can see that we have selected all of the values, all of the records here. However, we've gotten rid of the middle 2 columns. And if you do a class this time, and you place your matrix in there, you do a run, you can see that the class now is a matrix. And this is going to be much more efficient, trust me, in R when you're going to be doing large data manipulations. This is just taking a look at, say, 7 records. You may have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of records that you will be sifting through. So thank you for joining me on this subsetting from a data frame lecture. We learned the new way of subsetting, which is using the dollar notation and then putting out the column name. This is very effective and it's very convenient for the programmer to use. And there's also the usual subsetting, which is the matrix subsetting. So here you can do your indices, and you can also use a selection vector as we did here. So with that, let's move on to inserting and updating records in a data frame.